Susan, my aunt, is dying today, and she only has a couple weeks or a couple months to live because her body is not responding to anything. And unless God intervenes, she's been fighting this for a long time. She'll die this year, and I will go fly out there and be a part of her funeral. And so we see all this stuff, and we go, you know what, if God is good, like, why should I live for God if this stuff happens? Why doesn't God step in and do this stuff? He doesn't care about us. You want to know something? You're designed to live forever. But we're going to look at why we don't get along, you and I, and you and your wife, or you and your husband, or you and your employer, and why we die. And sometimes why we die in a tough manner. That's the next point. But I want to show you this, that you and I are not designed to die. God did not build you to die. It's not God's fault we die. We're going to find out how that happened. Look at this. God created man in his image, which included personhood, fellowship, and morality. No other animals have morality. You don't see any other justice system. You don't see ants taking other ants to court. There's just, men and women have morality that nothing else has because we're in the image of God. Out of Adam, God formed Eve. And Eve in the Hebrew means life giver. You and I are here because we had one first mother. You and I are all related. You want to know something trippy? If you're tapping out and already falling asleep, watch this. We already got one that's crying. You're going to cry in a moment. You ready? If you got married, you married a brother. You married your brother. If you got married, you married a sister. And you're like, whoa, is this, what section of the country are we in right now? It's like, hey, what's going on here? You want to know something? You married a relative. You married a relative of yours. We didn't come from 4,000 mothers that just kind of spread all over the place. We actually... Because people trip out and they go, hey, if Adam had kids, then obviously brother and sister had to get married. That's kind of incestuous, kind of weird. What are you talking about? You married a relative. It's just that theirs was really close. You happen to marry somebody way down the chain. But it all comes back to the same set of parents. And at the beginning, the only reason you don't get married to somebody super close to you in our society is because of replicating mistakes, and there's a lot of other health issues that can happen. But realistically, there's nothing wrong with that from the sense of how God built men and women. So, watch this. You and I are from the same set of parents. We have the value of God stamped on our first parents, and it continues all the way to our day. You are special because our very first parents had the image of God stamped upon them. And now we share human DNA with them all the way out to our day. All billions of us came from one set of parents.